Let us take up the July 2024 mock test paper for CA intermediate students. While conducting the audit of Zena Limited, CAE is trying to obtain understanding of different components of internal control of the company. So when we talk about different components of internal control, this should come from the stable of chapter number 3, that is risk assessment and the internal control. So there are five components of internal control, that is control activity, risk assessment procedure, information processing and so information system and business processing for the financial reporting. Then we also have monitoring of internal controls and entity and the control environment. Okay. So these are the five components of internal control. Such an understanding is necessary, is required to be documented in accordance with the standards on auditing. In this context, how he shall obtain understanding of risk assessment process of the company and how is the understanding important for the auditor. See, risk company has to adopt risk assessment process. Now, risk means problem, assessment means finding. First of all, company itself should have their own internal risk assessment process to identify the risk and to put safeguards against those risks. Example, risk of not recording a transaction, that is risk of omission, or risk of recording a transaction in an incorrect manner. These are all, it may lead to different risk. That's the thing here. Example, there is no authorization of transaction. That's a risk. Okay. So here the Zena Limited is the company. So what CAE, first of all, they have to obtain the understanding of the whether the entity has a process for, whether they have a process for. So do they have any risk assessment process? So they should have an understanding whether the entity has a process for, first of all, identifying the business risk relevant to the financial reporting objective. What are all the business risks which may have an impact on the financial reporting objective? Financial reporting means accounting. Okay, so what all business risks are involved? The second thing, you have to estimate the significance of the risk. Is that risk very critical? Is it very critical actually in nature? So take example, the company has got only one customer and company is completely dependent on that one customer. Tomorrow that one customer says, I don't want to continue. The customer says, I don't want to continue. What will happen? It's a business risk. And it leads to what you can say the provision for bad and doubtful debt. That's the thing here. Then estimating the significance of risk. That's the thing actually here. So what is the significant? How the risk is significant in nature? How it is significant? That you have to highlight. That's the thing here. So first you identify the business risk which is relevant to the financial reporting objectives. Estimate what is the significance of the risk. That's the thing actually here. Okay. Assess the likelihood of their occurrence. That's the thing here. So when mean how frequent those risks may occur. That's the thing here. Now companies depend on only one customer. If that one customer also cancels out, gone. So the possibility of, let's say, losing that customer, it's a business risk. And it is an impacting on financial reporting because your going concern may become a question. How big risk? Yes, definitely losing one customer, that only one customer, definitely it's a significant risk. Then assessing the likelihood of its occurrence. First of all, what are the business risks relevant to financial reporting? What is the significance of the risk? Means importance of that risk. Risk means problem. Then what is the likelihood of its occurrence? And then what action should be taken to address the risk? Okay, what steps company is taking? Do they have any plan for future action? No, no, we are in the process of discussing with 2, 3 customers for acquisition. That way. The antithesis risk assessment process forms a basis for the risk to be managed. Now, if that process is appropriate, it would assist the auditor in identifying the risk of material misstatement. Now, the risk can arise or change. Various factors are there. Say, example, say there is a new technology coming into picture, or there may be a new business model. There may be a new way of doing the business, new business model. Say, for example, earlier the customer will approach a bank for loan. Now they go through e-commerce websites There are e-finance websites actually. They go to these websites and they try to get a loan. You don't have to approach the bank. Products and are activities. So any new business model, new products or new activities are changes in the operational environment. So operations, whether they have changed, whether entity has a risk assessment process actually which is appropriate to the circumstances. It involves judgment. Is it appropriate to the circumstances that you have to check? So any new product has been launched, okay, new technology they have adopted, new business model, new products, new activities, any changes in the existing operation, all they contribute to the business risk. Okay, fine, soldiers. So now we go to the next question.